Good morning and welcome to another pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name's Ray, the Market Trader. And before we get started, we'll need to get through our obligatory risk disclosure here. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So good morning, Faye. We'll go ahead and review this. So again, risk disclosure, all the content that's being published and distributed by the Market Trader and its affiliates is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice or an offer to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, fund, future company. Use of this information contained herein is to be used at your own risk, and the company's partners, representatives, agents, employees, and contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. We do understand that future trading does carry a fair amount of risk and is not for every investor. Investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital and money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, let's see, do this and see this one more time. I definitely need to display this, so we'll display it. Hopefully we get some confirmation that it's back. Can I get some confirmation that is indeed visible, guys? Appreciate it. Okay. I don't know why I have to set up the streaming twice, sharing twice. All right. But yeah, thank you so much for the confirmation there. I'll just kind of display this for another couple of seconds, and then we'll move on to the news portal. Okay. No worries. No worries, Simon. All right, let's go ahead and now take a look at the financial news here as we have today that could impact the markets. Well, the day has arrived. We're going to have some FOMC meeting minutes today at 2 p.m. So anytime we have anything related to interest rates or the possibility of raising or lowering interest rates, that has obviously the potential of impacting the markets to a great extent here. So at 2 p.m. today, we have the FOMC meeting minutes, okay, being published, and we'll see how the market reacts to those. In addition to that, we have the EI for those crude oil traders. We have the inventory report, crude oil inventory report, that's being posted here at 10:30 a.m. And then at 1 p.m., we have the 10-year note yield, 10-year note to bid to cover reporting here at 1 p.m. And then we have a number of minor, what appears to be minor sometimes, but it's you never know. Members of, say, the Fed as well as our president speaking, right? So we have a number of Fed members speaking here this morning. We have President Trump speaking at a roundtable on Antifa, and then we have closing out the day with some more Fed members speaking here. Okay, so but I would say that the granddaddy of news events here that could have the impact of significant impact in the markets would be the FOMC meeting minutes today. Okay, something to be aware of, and something I would say that you want to maybe sit on the sidelines for. Okay. All right, and that's happening at 2 p.m. Eastern today. Okay. All right. So now that we have an understanding of what news we have in store, we'll go ahead and begin to take a look at the markets here, and we'll start with the regular market, our normal market, and that's the gold. Okay. So we'll go ahead and do that. And let's navigate to the charts here. So go ahead and stop share, and we'll locate the charting platform. Okay. So before I get started here, I just want to make sure that everybody is able to see this. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see at 15 minutes. I'm going to move to the daily chart. Okay, so daily chart of the gold. We're going to go ahead and remove some of our drawings here. Okay, So you can see here, there is the continuous move here. We're well over 5,000 now, not 5,000, well over 4,000. We're at 4,055 on a market that does not appear to be losing any sort of momentum here to the upside. Okay. We are in a strong, I would say, bullish move here to the upside in this market that is supported by, yes, they just keep buying every little pullback on the 90 EMA. Exactly. Right. So here we are, very nice volume delta bar. You can see here that every little pullback back to the 90 EMA is being scooped up, right? So again, another indication here that we are in a very strong bullish trend here to the upside, okay? Let's go ahead now and move on to the 4-hour chart. Let's see what the 4-hour chart has to say. We're going to go ahead and turn off initial balance here for a moment. We'll turn off this opening range breakout initial balance. We'll turn off that as well. Okay, so here we are looking at this. So here we are. Actually, this is kind of the first indication. Okay, and again, we have a developing bearish candle here on the 4-hour. Okay, in a market that continues to show strength. Okay, so we are above the 90 EMA. We are above the VWAP. Okay. And we have settlement price down here around 4,002 from yesterday. Okay, so it would not be surprising. Okay, we could easily make a little bit of a pullback. Okay, a little bit. I say a little bit. That's pretty significant. But if we could still make a little bit of a pullback on this chart, all the way down to 4,025.7, and still be in bullish structure. Okay, right. So that's how extended we are at this moment in time on this chart. Okay, so we could still pull back to 4,025 at current levels of 4,055. We could still pull back to 4,025 and still be in somewhat bullish structure. Okay, so as long as price remains above the 90 EMA, my view remains the same. Okay, my view remains that we are in some bullish structure. Now, could we find some bearish trades in this market? Absolutely, especially given the fact that we are a bit extended to the upside. Okay, but yet we have to understand that that is a counter trend kind of opportunity as we look at this on the higher time frame. All right, let's go ahead now and take a look at the 30-minute chart, and let's see what the 30-minute chart has to say with all of this. And again, we're starting to begin to see a little bit of structure as we move to a lower time frame. Looks like we created a little bit of a supply zone here up above here around this level here around 4,060. Let's say 4,060. I don't know. Probably something along these lines here. 4,062. Okay, that seems to be a level of supply that's been created. You can see that we're still a little bit of a ways away from VWAP here, so it would not be out of the realm of possibility, okay, that we come back and revisit the VWAP, right? Come back and revisit VWAP, and maybe potentially at that area continue, right? That would be quite logical for me, right? So have a move that comes back down to the VWAP range, and then kind of similar to what happened here, right? You can see we got a little bit of a pullback and extended. Now the fact that we are a ways away from settlement, right? That would also be another area that we could head towards. I would find it hard to believe that we would make it all the way down to the settlement price. But that would not be out of the realm of possibilities either. Okay, so we're starting to be, at least on the lower time frame chart, higher time frame, very strong to the upside. As we move down to lower time frame, we're starting to see maybe a little bit of structure that's beginning that may indicate that we might head a little bit lower. Okay, maybe this is a little bit of a retracement before it decides to make another leg higher. That's kind of my current feeling, right? That this is more of a retracement. Rather than an initiative move here to the downside. Okay, let's take a look at the fixed range volume profile here. and let's see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. So today being Wednesday, we're going to go ahead and start with the start of the session back here, all the way across to the close of the session. Okay, and you can see that price is well above, right? Well above value. Okay, so at this point, this area certainly would provide us a logical area, right? For if price were to reverse, and again, this would be a significant reversal now, okay, because we're up at 4,057, and to go all the way down to this 4,008 that doesn't seem likely. But the assumption here is that should we, right, if we go down to that level, that it would be supportive. Okay, this area right here would be a supportive area. Okay, I would also, potentially look at this swing and look for, Fibonacci levels, right? So you can do Fibonacci retracement levels. That would offer you some locations for opportunities, right? If we're going to remain aggressive to the upside, then this 38.2% retracement of this current swing would offer us a location. Okay, so any location in this area, okay, right around this area right here would be a buy area. Okay, this area right here, these are all retracement levels, right? Assuming that we get the right kind of price action, the right kind of reversal patterns with this whole area, right? These the 38%, the 50%, the 61.8%. These are all logical areas where we could see price reverse, right, or continue in that same direction. Okay. I know I don't talk about this much, but we don't often get into these momentum or initiative moves here in these markets. Okay, so while we are beginning to see maybe a little bit of bearish structure, we are still inside this bullish swing. Okay, so we could see maybe a little bit of a slowdown, maybe in the advancement. We have, honestly, we've broken a pretty significant level here at 4,000 and accelerated. Okay, so let's take a look here at the initial balance here and just get a sense for what the various markets were able to do across the various sessions here. So we'll go ahead and take a look across. We'll start off with the Asia session here and see. Okay, so here we are. Very nice extension. Okay, I'm just getting a little bit busy for me here, so we're going to go ahead and turn off some of this. Okay, you can see that we extended the range very nicely, okay, to the upside. Now I've kind of given a little bit more emphasis to the 200% extension, but you can see that we are making a pretty strong extension here from this Asia's initial balance range all the way up to the 400% extension. Okay, we got into a very initiative move, sustained move here to the upside. Now we've kind of maybe tapered off here of late. Okay, taking a look at the London, we'll take a look at London here. London, all right. Also, it appears that maybe we might have. Let's see, just confirm. We did extend, but that extension was not to the same level as Asia, right? So we did extend, and we found some sellers here at the 100% extension of this move. Now, they made it very difficult. Okay, especially made it very difficult for folks to participate in any sort of upside move here, right? So now on this chart, we're kind of hovering around the 9 EMA. The 9 EMA, you can see, is kind of being tested on both sides of the EMA, right? So what is that the beginnings of? Well, it's the beginnings of indication that maybe we are going to move into some sort of range in gold today, maybe ahead of the FOMC meeting. Okay, so we'll have to see, right? So if we get some positive news on the interest rates, when I say positive news, maybe some indication that they lower interest rates, maybe that will cause the gold market to pull back here a little bit. Okay, but right now we're seeing maybe the beginnings, right? We're seeing price overlapping, right, the 9 EMA, indicating that we could be moving into some sort of range here for the session. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind here. All right, so let's take a look at the current session here. Initial balance developing initial balance range, and it appears it's pretty tight range here. Okay, pretty tight range that we're developing here in the gold market. All right, so but this is the first 30-minute candle. All right. So we still have another 30-minute candle before we establish the range. But you can see that for now, it seems to be quite narrow. Okay. So in any case, I would say that headed into the market, especially on the lower time frame, it seems like we are losing a little bit of a momentum here to the upside, that we could move into some sort of range. Looks like the market is looking for some additional information and before it makes that next move here. Okay. And I would say maybe the FOMC mini minutes could be that news event that serves as a catalyst for the potential of maybe some further upside. Okay. Or what I'm thinking right now is that maybe there is a little bit of a pullback down to, because we are a little bit extended here, that we get a little bit of a pullback back down to the VWAP. Okay, and that pullback alone would offer a pretty nice return in a trade, right? Because we have been a pretty extended move here to the upside, and the markets just don't move vertically, right? They move in a staircase fashion. So I would say that maybe we are in store for maybe a little bit of a pullback in gold today, but we still, closing below, let's say closing below 4,055 would be maybe the first indication that we get a lower low in this market in some time. Okay. So that's kind of what I'm thinking of right now at this current time in the gold. Like I said, right now I'm thinking a little bit more neutral in the gold. We'll have to wait and see which direction they decide to take this market. Again, right now it feels like this is more of a retracement of the market, kind of a little bit of how we say maybe more of a digestion phase. Okay, if you want to think of it that way, a digestion phase that we're going through right now. And again, if price were to come back down to this VWAP range, that would offer maybe us a logical location for maybe to participate in this market to the upside. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm thinking of right now. Right, so we'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see how this all plays out. I'm going to draw my channel here, right? And that'll be kind of my beginning of a signal here as which direction they want to take this. Right now, we're inside some sort of bearish channel. Is it aggressively down? No, not at the moment, but we are kind of grinding to the downside, indicating that I think there's still a fair number of buyers of this market. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the crude oil market. As I highlighted earlier today is inventories, right? So crude oil has been moving a little bit better of late. Okay, I think it's offered us some opportunities. Although yesterday I think it was pretty much in range all day. We do have the inventory report. Let's take a look at the daily and see what the daily is saying. Again, you can see here that we're getting another little gap here to the upside. I'm going to go ahead and remove my drawings here. Had my little note to myself, no trade for lazy lion here. Okay. So here we are. We had another candle that opened well above the close of the prior daily candle. Okay. So I understand that, we could be in rollover, but we don't go in rollover 2 out of the 3 days here. So the fact that we're getting kind of pent up buying, right? That there is a back order of people who want to get in this market, and as a result, we were talking earlier, right? We were kind of in this range between 61 and 62. Well, guess what? We opened the market above 62. Okay, we opened the market above 62. So what is that telling us? That maybe there is a little bit of bullish momentum coming into this market. Okay, bullish momentum coming into this market. And moreover, we're starting to see that price is closing above some of these EMAs that we care about. Right now, is it to say that it can't continue to the downside? Far from the truth. Right. But we are starting to see that candles, like daily candles here, starting to make new highs. Okay. So we'll have to see again how this daily candle closes, what kind of EIA report we end up receiving, and to see if this has a little bit of momentum here to the upside. Let me take a little drink of water here. Okay, but again, I would say this is relatively significant, right? That we're able and managed to be able. We're still not out of the woods yet, I would say, There's still very much and a lot of bearish price action, but the fact that we are working way above the 9 EMA is significant, right? We're starting to see the VWAP starting to show signs of some strength here. All right, so let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. So let's see what the 4-hour chart is telling us. All right, so 4-hour chart, again, we're starting to break some structure here to the upside, right? We've been in this bearish swing. Okay, now we're starting to make higher highs and higher lows here in this market. Okay, price is above our 9 EMA, something that we care about to kind of arrive at market sentiment. Okay, it's above the 9 EMA. Now, can price quickly come back and close below the 9 EMA and continue lower? Absolutely. And based on this swing, it would not be out of the realm of possibility here, right? So given the swing, it would not be out of, would be consistent with what we're seeing. A little bit of retracement, head lower, right? But this feels a little bit different here, right? This feels more than just a retracement, right? Why do I say that? Well, you can see that we have some pretty strong wicks here around the 61 level. Okay, someone, or not just someone, a number of people did not want to see price get below 61. Okay, number of indications here that there are some serious buyers that might be behind this current move. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the 30-minute chart and let's see what the 30-minute chart, what it has to offer here. Okay, so we are developing a bearish, candle here at the moment. So we'll go ahead and remove some of these drawings. We are, I would say, we have the settlement price here down below. There seems to be a fair number of buyers currently in this market here. Okay, so let's first take a look at the fixed range volume profile. Let's see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. So we'll go ahead and drag that across to the close. Okay, you can see here that we are well above, okay, value from yesterday. This area here around 61.80 would make for a very nice area, maybe for an opportunity to the upside. I do understand that we're well above that level. I'm talking about an area or maybe even an alert that you want to set for yourself, right? Because there's going to be a point in time, okay, that price will come back to the 61.80 level. We do not extend in one direction without revisiting some of the same areas, revisiting some of the same areas we left. So whether it happens today or whether it happens in the near future, my expectation is that price will come back to this 61.80 level at some point, okay, and maybe offer us maybe an opportunity for a continuation trade. Right now, we see that price is above our 9 EMA. It's above our VWAP. We see that price is above our value area. And let's take a quick look here at the initial balance range. I was going to go ahead and open up ADR. Seems like we might have already exhausted our average range, and sure enough, we did here. Okay, so statistically, we've kind of we've got to reach the kind of average daily range for the day. So it would not be a surprise if we did pull back here a little bit. The fact that we've reached this level very early could be indicating that maybe we have maybe a potential abnormal day to the upside. Okay, but the fact that we've reached this range, that we've reached the top of this range, is significant, right? You can see every time we've reached this range that we do lose a little bit of momentum in whatever direction, right, that the range is offering us. Okay, so here we are at the top end of the average daily range. So this could be an area that could spur maybe a little bit of selling, okay, in this market. And again, we'll have to wait and see what the market kind of provides here. So we just had the opening of the session here. We're going to go ahead and do a little bit of comparison here of the initial balance ranges across the various markets here. But I sense that Asia, London, we're all a bit bullish on crude oil. Okay, so let's take a look at Asia. Okay, you can see Asia did offer, right? We extended to the upside, did not accelerate right away. We just stayed above the initial balance range for pretty much the entire session, and then said, okay, London said, yeah, okay, we know what to do here, and they decided to go ahead and continue to take it higher. Okay, so that's exactly what they did, right? So they got a nice little push out of this range. came back down to kind of, they did their best to wipe out any sort of weak buyers here that might have been in the market, right? People who may have reacted to this nice bullish candle. They said, you know what? Let's go ahead and knock these guys out. Let's shake out any weak buyers in this market. And then they got to a point where maybe buyers just said, okay, well, I'm just going to throw in the towel here, and then to only see the market kind of move without them. Okay. So that's kind of where we're at right now. London has extended the range, got to about 150% extension of this range. And now we remain. Yes, we need to get us. Yeah, we can't get up this early, right? So we need our rest. But in any case, it's always good to understand exactly what the various sessions were able to do with this market. So if anything, it gives us some insight as to what the direction of the market is, right? So again, this area down right around the 62.45 level seems like an interesting level, right? This is a little bit of confluence that we have here, right, between the initial balance high and VWAP, right? That would be kind of a logical level maybe for a continuation kind of move in this market. Assuming that we stay above the 9 EMA, well, that gives us another indication that maybe there's some further upside opportunities. I'm a little guarded given the fact that we have average daily range high here, but it's not the first time that we would not be the first time that we've extended that average daily range either, right? So we need to be aware of it, right? The fact that we've extended the range or reached the sort of average daily range high, and that could offer us maybe a little bit of a pullback, right? So we have the 62.45, which is the initial balance high from London. We have VWAP also at the same location, and I'm not exactly sure. We have settlement prices well below the market. Okay, so we'll have to see. Now that we've got the session open here, I'm going to go ahead and move it to the regular session here and see what the regular session has to offer here. And you can see that we are developing a rather narrow range. Again, we have EIA today at 10:30 Eastern, so probably would not want to do anything of a significance. Or if I do anything before that, I'm going to be flat before that news event. So mark on your calendars, mark on your notepads. Stay flat in crude oil prior to 10:30, right? So 10:15 would probably be the latest that I would go. Just in case that there's any sort of leak on any sort of news event or any sort of report that could cause the market to react in a serious way. Okay, so headed into the session again on the lower time frame, we're seeing some beginnings of some evidence that maybe the market wants to move higher. Okay, daily is starting to make some higher highs and higher lows. So we'll have to see. Right now, like I said, we are at a level where we could find some sellers, but we haven't broken any sort of price structure below the 9 EMA. So until that happens, my feeling is that maybe this might be an area where we could reverse and continue. All right, until that happens. All right, so that's kind of what I have for you for crude oil. I'm taking a peek here at the chat. I'm seeing that we're a little bit light on the likes. So I'm going to go ahead and put on my marketing hat here and encourage you guys to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment or two in the portal indicating how this analysis is supporting you in trading. Okay. And if you want to again, encourage me to continue to offer these kinds of sessions to you guys. Okay. All right. Now that I've gotten a couple of little clicks on the likes, let's go ahead and move on to the NASDAQ, right? Everybody's interested. Are we going to continue lower, right? That's everybody's interest here. All right. So let's go ahead and remove some of the drawings. I don't anticipate that we make any sort of significant move until FOMC. To be honest with you, I feel that we'll probably end up remaining in some sort of range until the FOMC meeting minutes happen today. Unless there's some sort of, leak of that report. Okay. So let's go ahead and turn off some of these levels here. Let's turn off ADR here for a moment here. Okay. So you can see again, we are seeing maybe a little bit of slowdown in this move here to the upside. seen a lot more in the way of overlapping candles of late. Okay, that's kind of an indication that maybe we are beginning to get into some sort of range. Maybe this range kind of price action is in anticipation of the FOMC meeting minutes. Okay, you can see that price remains above our 9 EMA, nicely orderly above it, right? Indicating that there's still a fair amount of interest here in this market to the upside. We have not gotten any sort of price to close below it. Okay, so until we get that, then our view needs to continue to be bullish. Okay, so let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. Okay, 4-hour chart. Maybe we start to see maybe some beginnings of maybe some bearish, kind of price action here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and turn off initial balance here for a moment. You can see that we had a couple of bearish runs here. Okay, so we had one little bearish run here, kind of met up with some buyers. We had one, I guess, yesterday, during the U.S. session, another little bearish run. So far has been met with some buyers, but not with a whole lot of strength. We're starting to see that price is below our 9 EMA. Okay, so prices are below our 9 EMA on the 4-hour. Well, that's kind of beginning to give me some indication that maybe we are moving into some sort of bearish structure in this market, right? If price remains below that 9 EMA, I have to look more bearish than bullish. Okay, and that would be aligned with kind of what we're beginning to see here, right? Nice strong 4-hour candle here to the downside. We're the market kind of retraced that a little bit. Okay, and we still remain below our 9 EMA. So maybe we're starting to see maybe some structure that would indicate that we head lower. All right, let's take a look at the 30-minute chart. Let's see what the various markets were able to do with this, various sessions we're able to do with this market here. Okay, so here we are. It looks like we got pretty neutral price action since the close. Okay, so once we made this move to the downside, we went into some sort of digestion mode, right, in this market, right? We've kind of digesting all this short behavior that we've been seeing of late. Okay, you can see that price has kind of moved into some sort of range, right? You can see that price is above and below our VWAP. VWAP is really not offering us anything in the way of direction. So when we see that, it's an indication that maybe we are in some sort of range in this market. All right, let's take a look at the, let's say, fixed range volume profile to start. Okay, and let's see where we're at in respect to that. So we'll take a look at that. Today is Wednesday, so Tuesday, we'll go ahead and move this across here. All right, so we are very much in range from yesterday. Okay, surprise, surprise. Okay, so again, another indication that we are maybe in some sort of balanced price action at the moment. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the initial balance here and see if I have not done away with it. I always have the habit of doing away with it for some reason. All right, let's go ahead and add it back in. You guys, this will offer you some insights on how I add that particular tool onto this chart here, but I'm going to have to modify this a little bit, right? So I'm going to have to say this is for the 1 hour. I'd like to draw these lines in yellow, and then I like to draw my extensions in red. Okay, and then I'd like to give a little bit of significance to the 200%. Because that's often an area where we do get some sort of reversal in price. Okay, so there we are. Okay, so let's take a look here. Let's take a look at the Asia session and see what Asia was able to do with this market. And I suspect that not much of anything. Okay, so here we are. We got a little bit of an extension, okay, to the 50% in the Asia market. Okay, nothing really to write home about. If anything, we probably would have been better served in maybe participating in a failed auction the other direction. Okay. Notice how well priced once it closed back inside initial balance, rotated all the way to the edge of initial balance before finding some buyers. Okay. London. London. Let's see. So Asia was initially bullish. London was neutral. Okay. Did not want to accept higher pricing, right? So we got a number of rejections here to the upside. Okay, so we're kind of in some sort of range kind of environment. So what to make of all this? Okay, well, we could certainly continue in range. There's nothing there's nothing that would keep us from staying in range in this market. Okay. With FOMC minutes in the horizon, we could certainly remain in that range until those mini minutes are reported. Okay. At which point the market could decide to take on a direction. Okay. We see that price is at settlement at the moment, or very close to it. Looks like we are maybe making a little bit of rejection away from that settlement price here, right? You can see that indication. Now the question is this going to be enough to cause the market to get above 25,100, right? Because that's what we would need. That's what we would need to make a newer high, okay, in this market. Otherwise, what it looks like is that we could remain in some sort of range in this market. I would say maybe range to maybe another leg lower. Okay. If these folks are serious about, taking the market lower, well, I don't expect that they would allow price to get too far into this range before they step back in. Okay. So that's kind of the view right now. So headed into the session, I would say that until at least the FOMC meeting, I would say that we're more likely to stay in some sort of range. Right now, we see 25,100, okay, as maybe the top of the range at the moment. And maybe let's call it 25,000, I don't know, 35, maybe 25,020 as the bottom of the range. So pretty tight range in the NASDAQ. Nothing too wide that would probably be able to sustain any sort of stop loss here. So you want to be careful, I would say, in this market right now, given the kind of range, kind of price action. Again, this kind of price action are areas where combines go to die, right? Our combines are put to rest rather than combines that are successful. So be careful with the NASDAQ as we approach FOMC today. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at the ES. Okay. ES, we're going to go ahead and start with the daily chart here. And we're going to go ahead and remove some of our drawings here. And again, you can see that market continues to show signs that we are in some sort of bullish structure here. Every little pullback is met that we come to on the 9 EMA is met with some buying. There's been a number of times that we've checked the 9 EMA only to find some more buying. We completed a bearish engulfing candle, which in more often than not would be an indication that maybe we are going to head lower. Right now, we haven't technically closed. I don't know. We'll maybe take a look at this on a 4-hour better, but we haven't really closed. Right. This is a daily chart, so it'll be interesting to see whether this daily candle is able to absorb all these sellers that we have here. Okay, around the 6,800 level. Okay, 6,800 does continue to be an area of some resistance to price. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that. We've tested that level a number of times. We're going to mark that in red, indicating that this is an area of some interest on the selling side. But nonetheless, we still see that price is above our 9 EMA. So as long as price remains our 9 EMA, we have to kind of focus our attention more on the buy side. Okay. So taking a look at this on the 4-hour side, we see that at this point, it's having maybe a little bit of issue here, staying above the 9 EMA. Okay. We do see that we have price right at the 9 EMA. We got a nice, I don't know if call it nice, but a strong push to the downside during the US session. Okay. Possibly in anticipation of the FOMC. It's hard to say. And now we're right up against the 9 EMA. As you know, the 9 EMA is kind of my litmus test. Right now, we have a little bit mixed information, right? The price is above our VWAP and below or working its way below or maybe even above our 9 EMA. Okay, right at that at the moment. Okay, so difficult to say exactly which direction right now, but given that we had this strong bearish candle, I have to give maybe a slight edge here to the bears. But we'll have to see here as we kind of navigate down, okay, to these markets here. Okay, so again, you can see that price is working its way above and below our 9 EMA. We're kind of barcoding around the 9 EMA. Hard to say exactly which direction they want to take this market. Okay. And until then, until they decide on which direction they want to take the market, we're probably best served to kind of wait on the sidelines, okay, until they make that decision, right? We don't need to be involved in this area, right in the middle of the range, trying to figure out is it going to be higher or is it going to be lower? We don't need to be a part of that. Let these participants with the big caches of cash come in and tell you which direction they want to take it. Okay, so we'll have more than enough notice as to which direction they want to take this market. All right, so let's take a look at the fixed range volume profile. Let's see if we compare this, but I think if we do some comparison here, I think we'll come to the same conclusion that we did with the NASDAQ, and that is that we are in some sort of, spoke too soon. I thought we were going to come in range, or actually we were above range. All right, so that is giving me a little bit of a different look on the ES, right? So ES is showing maybe a little bit of signs of more bullish than the NASDAQ, right? We're above value, right? Above this value range. I was thinking that maybe we were going to close we're going to be inside this range. On the contrary, looks like we're kind of maybe testing the top end of this value range for the possibility of a leg higher. Okay. This kind of changed my view here a little bit. Okay. All right. Let's might be maybe a little bit of a repair day. We'll have to see. Okay. Let's take a look at the initial balance here and let's see what these various markets were able to do with this market. So we'll start off with the Asia session, looking at the Asia session and see what direction they were able to take this. Looking at Asia, well, similar to NASDAQ, it was able to get slightly above the 50% range in this market. Am I seeing 50% drawn in? No, I'm not seeing 100%. Let's draw that in. Okay, so we got above the 50%. We got an extension to the 50% before we kind of sold off and rotated back to initial balance. Then we got to the edge of initial balance and looks like we found some buyers, right? So we broke through the initial balance range. We retested back the initial balance range. And what did we find? Well, it looks like we found some buyers. Price is now above the VWAP and now above the 9 EMA. Should we break above this, again, just to kind of get maybe clear some of this, should we break above the 67.75 level? Well, that level could offer us maybe a location, maybe for some further exploration or further price discovery to the upside. So I'm a bit more bullish. I would say that on the ES, given the fact that we are above value. Okay, that's kind of my litmus test here at the moment. All right, let's now take a look at one last market here before we kind of navigate across all the markets to kind of summarize where we're at. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the daily. Okay, looking at the daily chart here on the Dow, you can see that we continue to remain in some sort of bullish structure here. Price remains above our 9 EMA, and we're developing a bullish candle. Okay, so for now, we have to say that we remain bullish. Okay, as long as price remains above our 9 EMA, we won't know exactly how this candle closes until the end of the session, but we are developing a bullish candle to the upside. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart, you can see that we've kind of maybe reached a level here. We had settlement. Price created a bearish and bullish engulfing candle, closed above our 9 EMA, and now we have another follow-through candle that's indicating maybe that there's more upside to this move. Okay, settlement is right around this 46,844 level. Okay, that looks like is offering maybe a location, maybe where we've gotten a little bit of demand. Okay, looking at the 30-minute chart, again, we're going to go ahead and do our little fixed range volume profile here. Okay, fixed range volume profile, and take a look at yesterday's price action here and to the close here, right about there. Okay, and you can see that price is above value, similar to what we were seeing on the ES. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and draw this line as an area of some sort of support here. All right, so that area would be an area of some sort of support. We see that price is well above our VWAP and now strongly above our 9 EMA, indicating that maybe there is a little bit of strength. I would anticipate that this 47,000 level could be resistant to price. Okay, so 47,000. So high end here could be resistant to price, and that could maybe continue to cause the market to kind of remain in some sort of range. All right. We're going to take a look at the initial balance and kind of compare across the various sessions and see what we're able to pull. So here's Tokyo. Tokyo, very similar to what we saw here. Okay, in the Nasdaq and the ES, did manage to extend to the little higher than the 50% range. Came back to settlement price, and since settlement, we've been in this kind of bull run. Okay, of late. All right. Taking a look at London. Okay, London. Let's see what London was able to do with all of this. Okay, London is also looking bullish. We also have extended here to the upside. We did make an extension. We pulled back to the 9 EMA and off we've gone. We've retested that level. So again, on the Dow, we are seeing beginnings of maybe some bullish moves. Okay, 47,040 is going to be an area that I'm going to watch. If I'm bearish on this market, that would be kind of an area that maybe I would be, and that would also not quite the 200%, but the 100% extension of this current move in London. All right. So let's go ahead and kind of make one last pass across the various markets. And as I do, kind of try to encourage folks to hit the likes, hit the subscribes, smash the notification bell to be alerted of when these kinds of sessions are available. So again, on the gold, again, looking at this on, let's see, let's change this to the regular session now that we're in the regular session here. So day session, click OK. All right, so here we are, regular session. I was kind of drawing that little channel for myself. We did get a break of the channel. We have yet to close above the channel, but we are starting to see maybe some, some signs of maybe some continuations potential in this move. Okay, it looks like it's having a little bit of trouble getting above 4,071, which is not out of the it's not how we say a surprise. Okay, that it might have some trouble to get above that. Again, similar to what we're saying about the Nasdaq, and the other equity markets, it's quite possible that we remain, since we have FOMC minutes being published today, that we could remain in some sort of range in this market, right? Do you think the IB size is average or above average? I would say that it's about average, maybe to slightly larger. Okay, maybe slightly above average range. Right now we're going from 52 all the way to 72. Yeah, so that's a 20-point range. Yeah, maybe slightly above. Okay, slightly above average. I would say this is probably more along the lines of what we normally see. Okay, obviously the more narrow the range, the more likely we are maybe the potential of seeing some sort of directional move. Okay, but nonetheless, I think FOMC is going to probably play a hand in the gold today. Yeah, I would say that. I think we would probably be better served in waiting for the initial balance range to kind of pick a direction. Okay, Faye Marie. Oh, so Faye Marie, you're Marie, right? I just noticed that. Is that the matriarch that we've been all talking about in Coach Ray's room? The person that everybody wants to call Coach Mom? All right. Okay. Very good. All right. So yes, I would agree, Faye. I think right now, we're looking maybe a little bit initially in some sort of range kind of price action in the gold. You can see by the fact that we're getting wicks on both ends of the candle. All right. So that's something to keep in mind as well. All right. So neutral, maybe neutral to maybe slightly. I just have this sneaky suspicion here that we're at some point going to pull back to this VWAP here at some point. I just don't know when, right? But I think right now, headed into the market, I think it's going to be a little bit of range kind of price action up until the FOMC meeting. Okay. Let's take a look at crude oil. So crude oil here. All right. So crude oil, surprise, surprise. The moment we think that maybe today will be different, again, we get some more bearish price action to take place, right? The moment we start, okay, we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel here. We just got above 62. All's good in the world. and we get another bearish candle that tells us that maybe it's not all is not good in the world, right? So again, difficult market right now. We're seeing that price is headed below our 9 EMA. Is this going to be the beginnings of maybe a sustained move to the downside? Again, just want to remind you guys, today is EIA, right? So if we're going to entertain any sort of trades in this market, we need to wait for that that to take place, that to be published, and then we can kind of maybe there's an inkling here, right? That maybe there's an oversupply of oil here. I'm not sure, right? But the fact was that we were seeing some sort of demand, and now somebody has kind of stepped in and said, well, enough's enough here, okay? The wise thing would be to wait for the EIA to report here, okay? Like I said, 61 seems to be still a level that I would think that would be supportive. But I was kind of, again, my initial view was maybe that we were headed a little bit higher. But now that price is below our VWAP and our 9 EMA, that's kind of changing my tune here a little bit. So we'll have to see how this currently closes and what it kind of offers us. Yeah, 6205, maybe that's what they're doing. Maybe they're coming back down to 6205 in anticipation. All right. And I think if we take this candle here, it came pretty close to the low here of that 6205. It got to 6211, Dave S. So it came down to the lows of the day here. All right. Take a look at the equity markets. Now, the equity markets are kind of a mixed bag. We were kind of in some sort of a balance range in the ES, in the Nasdaq. We were seeing maybe a little bit more in the way of some bullish price action. We are seeing maybe the beginnings of some bullish price action in the Nasdaq, off of an area of demand here, off of settlement. So maybe there is a leg higher. Maybe this is a repair day. Maybe this is the day where we repair some of this this profile that we're seeing, and maybe we hang out in this range and build up some volume and kind of build out this volume profile. But we are beginning to see some price action to indicate maybe it wants to head higher. Again, I'm leery again that we are in some sort of balance range. Also, the fact that we have FOMC, so headed into the session, I think we probably would be better served into remaining kind of patient and waiting for the FOMC to take place before we take on any serious opportunities in the Nasdaq. ES was earlier showing some signs of more strength. You can see that price is above our value area, indicating that maybe there is some more upside opportunities in this market. We see that price is above our 9 EMA. It's also above our VWAP, okay, indicating that maybe there is a little bit more in the way, but this quickly can turn on us, guys, okay? We are still inside some bearish structure here, okay? And we are kind of arranging at the moment. So again, I think the prudent thing would be, as long as we remain above the value area high, I think you can say that maybe there's still some more upside opportunity. This point of control here up above doesn't seem like a bad target for maybe a move to the upside, okay? And maybe we spend the rest of the afternoon or up until the FOMC, filling out this range. I said afternoon, I meant morning. Filling out this volume profile to look a little bit more balanced. Okay. So again, bullish, maybe bullish to neutral. I'm saying bullish just because of the fact that we're above value. And then ultimately the Dow, I think, is also looking a lot like the ES, and maybe even showing a little bit more signs of strength in the Dow than any of the other markets. Okay. So that's kind of what I have for you guys today. We'll go ahead and close at the session at this point with, I don't know, a minute or two remaining before we get the start of the market. Gold looks like showing a little bit of weakness here up at the highs at 4,072. I don't know if maybe we get an extension here down to maybe the VWAP. We'll have to see. But nonetheless, we'll go ahead and close off the session. Again, trying to encourage folks to hit the likes, hit the subscribes, smash that notification bell to be alerted to these kinds of sessions in the future. And I think that's pretty much it. So trade well, trade safe, trade like a pro, be a market trader. All right, guys. Thank you, Dirk. Thank you, Faye.